Well, you've seen some fine men and women in Navy uniforms all week, and we have more today as Navy Week continues. And joining us all the way from Boston, Massachusetts.
We're hoping for some accents.
We sure are a couple of members of the USS Constitution, and they're on a USS Constitution mission to tell us more about the history of the Navy. I can't talk, it's been too long of a day. And maybe even teach us a thing or two that we could use if we're ever at sea.
Well, thank you guys for joining us. And I feel like we were already getting a history lesson a bit in the break, because we have, first we have mate, it's the bosun's mate, first class Corey Van Beveren. Did I get that right? Because I said it's bosun?
Bosun's mate, first
Bosun's
class,
mate,
yes.
Okay. And then we also have interior communications electrician, second class Angela Correcchia, and Seaman Taylor Ruggles. So thank you guys for joining us today. Tell us a little bit about what your mission is.
So our mission today with USS Constitution is to preserve the ship, promote the ship, and protect the ship. So obviously here today, we're here to promote the ship, answer any questions, and teach people a little about history of the United States and the United States Navy.
And this might be a dumb question, but how big is that boat that you guys are working on? You know what I mean? Is it like those big ones that you see, or kind of like a mid-sized, or?
She's pretty large, so she's a 44-gun frigate. That doesn't mean much to most people. That just means that she's got 3 masts, which are those big poles that stick out the top of the ship that hold the sails, and she's got 1 covered gun deck. She's the size of a 4-story building, and she's about 307 feet long, so she's very large.
And people weren't here in the commercial break when I was trying to learn how to say boatswain's mate, but where does that come from? You said, I mean, there's a reason why it's not spelled like that, and I struggled.
It's 11th century Old English, so it would have been boatswain, which means boats, and swain means follower of. So we were literally the follower of boats, and that's how that came to be.
Do you have to take extra history lessons? I mean, how do you learn all of this and keep it all in your brain?
So when the new sailors come in, we have a training department, and they go to training for about 3 months. They go through a training process where they have to answer all the questions. They went on tours with folks that come and visit, and then we have some other qualifications they can get to advance their knowledge as well.
What are some of the most popular questions you get?
We usually get asked how many people were on board.
How many people are on board?
So we had about 450 sailors with 50 Marines and 12 officers, so a little over 500.
Okay, and this is
Oh,
a
and
picture.
that's what the boat looks like.
That's incredible. Beautiful.
Wow, that is huge. And so, I mean, this has to be difficult to maintain too. I mean, because if you're at sea, I mean, you have that salt water up on it, you have the weather conditions. You guys have to constantly just maintenance all the time, making sure that it's clean and things aren't building up on it.
We do, yes. It's a constant struggle, but it's worth it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was a beautiful ship. And so what is kind of, you talked about earlier, you know, this, even the title that you all have is Old English. What's kind of the history of the Navy? You know, kind of like if you had to describe it pretty quickly, what would you say it entails?
So bad guys were antagonizing the United States. The United States had an option to build a Navy. We did, and from there, we kept going forward.
I love that. That's actually good. And I know that you're all holding some rope right now.
Yes.
Why is this, and are you going to teach us something here today?
We are. So I have 2 for you if you want to join us.
Gonna have to, yes.
In boot camp, a sailor is required to tie at least 3 basic knots.
Oh.
The first one being a square knot. So Seaman Ruggles is going to show you how to tie a square knot.
Okay.
First of all, you want the red in your right.
I already got it mixed up. Okay, here we are. Here we are. I'm
You're
starting off on a good hand.
Color coding's the easiest.
And you're going to go right over left with the bitter ends.
Okay.
Okay, right over left. Here we are.
Over and under.
With the red.
Yes.
Yes. Almost like your shoe.
Okay.
Okay.
And then you're going to take the red again, put it over the white on top.
This is harder than it looks, everybody at home. I'm just saying that
Over
right
and under.
now. Top, over, under.
Over, under.
And then you pull.
I don't have enough slack, I don't think.
There you go.
There you go.
Yay!
Look at
You get to go on the ship. Well, maybe not. Maybe it takes more than that.
Yeah, I think it takes a little bit more than that. I'm the worst at tying knots. I talk about going tubing all the time, but they're always like, tie a knot. And I literally said, I'm not a sailor, I can't tie one. No, I can.
This is awesome. We are running out of time, but what else do you guys have going on here that you might want to encourage people to check out during Navy Week? Anything where you guys are going to be specifically?
So we're going to be going to the rest of the Fargo Boys and Girls Clubs throughout the rest of the week, and then it's going to culminate with everybody going to the air show. So
yes.
we'll all be there.
And if you're ever in Boston, go check out the ship, right?
Yes.
Yes.
There
Awesome.
it is.
Thank you so much for coming in today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Coming up next, we're going to get your dose of daily motivation.